This game left the Leafs in first place. This weekend left the Leafs in first place with a couple of games in hand on the Florida Panthers, okay? Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk both sat out. Brady, not for long, looks like. Matthew, if you were to believe Renaud Lavoie from TVA, he suggested that there is some concern that his season might be over. He said, we're waiting for some important medical results. We're hearing his year might be over. We don't want it to be, but there is some concern. Now, today, Paul Maurice said Matthew Tkachuk is still being checked out by doctors and that his injury could cost him some time, but, quote, he's playing for us this year. Now, he didn't specify, which is, I think is important, is calendar year? As in, is he playing in the fall of 2025 or will he be playing this season?
No, I mean, his regular season might be done. And then, game one of the playoffs. Here we go.
Okay. Now, then you add on, and we're going to go a little deeper into this, but not
you think
yet.
Vegas is the only team that can do that? Ha! You think Tampa's the only Florida team that can do that? Ha!
There were multiple articles from Bruins outlets this weekend saying essentially the same thing, that the Bruins look like they're waving the white flag on this season.
Well, they're boned. Like, to lose Charlie McAvoy potentially for the season and Hampus Lindholm, it seems like confirmed for the season. That's your top pair. So you're boned.
The Leafs are currently in first with a game in hand on the Panthers. Okay.
Good.
The Bruins are actually just a point out of the playoffs, but
it's hilarious.
It's hilarious. The Florida Panthers might lose Matthew Tkachuk for at very least the rest of the regular season.
Or, like, let's say a month. It's a lot of time.
And the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are better than people give them credit for. They've been ignored, and you saw that Brandon Hagel goal this weekend. It was crazy.
Winners of 5 straight.
This is the Toronto Maple Leafs' time to win this division, is it not?
You're probably not going to have a better opportunity, man.
Like, you do this now. You go in now, right?
2 goalies who give you a chance every single night. You got one of the better shutdown pairs in the entire NHL for the first time in ever. The core 4 is clicking pretty well, and they got a little bit of help from guys like Nyes and McMahon. Trade deadline's here. You can make some very obvious additions to your team. Yeah, go for it, dude.
Do you think that they will? Because we've been warned by Calgary Flames fans that Brad Treliving is a dud when it comes to the trade deadline. People keep joking about how it's going to be like Ryan Donato and a pick or something like that.
I don't know.
That's what Flames fans have said. Now, I don't know that that's necessarily the case, and it also might be a different situation. Like, maybe ownership wanted different things in Calgary, and they didn't want to give up picks. If you're the Leafs, what are you willing to sell?
Well, this is the thing. I know everyone wants a big swing. I'm not really on that team right now. I'll get excited if they do it. Don't you worry. But, like, if you had to ask me what I'm looking for, like, unless you're willing to do what Colorado did and empty the friggin' cupboard, just lay it bare. I don't see a huge swing here. Like, you said, it's going to be like Donato, and I'm like, I'll take Ryan Donato. That sounds great.
You can get him.
Versatile forward. He can play, every forward position. He can play a little center, score you a few goals. Yeah, I'll take Ryan Donato. Hell yeah. I know it's not the sexiest thing. It's not the most exciting. I would like to see them make upgrades at several positions, and you're not going to get a superstar at like 2 or 3 different positions. You're going to have to
pick which position.
Well, you're going to either have to take a big swing at one spot and then sort of live with the rest of your lineup, or you're going to have to be like, all right, here's Ryan Donato up front. Maybe we get another depth forward like a Brandon Tanev and a defenseman. Left or right, probably right. And who's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be Erik Karlsson, I bet. No, it's going to be like, I don't know, Connor Murphy played last night. Maybe it's a guy like him. It's not going to be sexy names, I don't think. I think there's going to be some unhinged behavior at this deadline. I do. I just don't think it's going to come from Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so disappointing to hear.
I know.
Jesse, do you agree with that?
I think it'd be ridiculous to sit on your hands this trade deadline. I don't know when, if you're not going to go for it this year, I don't know when you're going to go for it. It's been so long where they haven't done anything in the playoffs of significance that every year this needs to be the year we're getting it done. And I don't want one game on the weekend or 2 games really on the weekend where you got some depth scoring to cloud the judgment of the front office and believe that they have depth scoring now.
No.
It's not true. Go out, make your big swing, and add to the team.
I will say,
If not this year, then when? We're going to wait for next year?
I think all their decisions are made. Like I was saying, oh, yeah, get Kelly Yarncroke in the lineup and just see. Nah. Like, there's 5 games left. I think your decisions are made.
Yeah.
The Four Nation face-off was very fortuitously timed. If you're a GM who wasn't a part of the tournament, you had all that time to be like, all right, there's a 2-week lead up to the trade deadline. Let's make our wish list. Let's start those conversations if they haven't already begun. I just don't know if any surprises are going to spring up.
I'm going to ask this question. I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I'm going to ask this question because I think I know what your answers are going to be, but I'm curious if you will have different answers. Starting with Jesse. If there's a position you take the big swing on, what's the big swing position?
Isn't all year we've been telling them to go get a center?
That's what I think.
Like I don't want that conversation to change because they're good now. It doesn't mean they're better at that position because they've been good from October to February 24th, and they've still always needed a center.
Here's the big swing I take if there is a big swing to be taken. Center, just like you said, and they got to be locked up going forward. To me, I
don't care.
I'm just not enthusiastic about rentals.
Why are you worried about next season?
Because it's a good way to operate.
Win the cup.
Not when you have to win this season. Like
it is kind of a pivotal season.
I hate that mentality where these GMs will be afraid they want to hold on to a draft pick. You know when that draft pick's coming up? Like 5 years
2030.
from now.
2030.
Like it's so unimportant if you're trying to win. And you see a team like Colorado go out and trade everything. You see Vegas go out and trade everything. Be bold and make a decision.
So
I don't care about the draft picks for coming up.
Jesse's correct. And I'll tell you why I'm wrong. I'm going to analyze me for a sec. I'm wrong because all season, I and a lot of Leaf fans have done an exceptional job of ignoring the fact that Mitch Marner and John Tavares have expiring UFA deals.
And Matthew Nyes doesn't have a contract. We're doing real good, guys. Way to really, hey, old school. Don't address the problem. Push it down.
Be a man.
Push it down. Yeah, be a man. Push it down. Don't address the issue. It's Marner is not a UFA, and Tavares is. And you just push it down until I don't know. At some point, I clutch my chest from the stress in June. You're right. Any other team in the league, we'd be looking at and going, "Why are you sitting on your hands?" It's like the Brad Marchand conversation. Like any other team in the league trades that player, probably. You either. With Marchand, I think the Bruins either have to sign him for the rest of his life or get rid of him immediately.
Yeah.
With the Leafs, they're very literally maybe no tomorrow, and maybe you should operate as such.
Just fast forward to 8 weeks from now, Leafs lose in the first round.
Well,
that's unforgivable. They lose again.
Yeah.
Again.
They lost
now
the
we're talking
first round.
about bigger changes, right?
Yeah, so you gotta look to the very near future and say, okay, so we're not going to do anything at the trade deadline, and then we lose in the first round, and you didn't do anything at the trade deadline. That's ridiculous.
This is Anthopoulos 2015.
Yeah, even when they won a round in 2023, and they still only won 5 games. How did they win that one round? The biggest swings of Dubas' tenure.
Yeah,
he went out and he got Ryan O'Reilly, he got
Luke
Jake
Schenn.
McCabe, Luke Schenn. Holy shit, was he active. He had a fun few weeks there. Itchy thumbs, Kyle. Scratch them on your phone.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's interesting about that is there's very little fallout from those trades. Like, is anybody upset about how that all played out?
No.
None of those players stayed.
Are you pissed that Jake McCabe is still a Leaf?
No.
Not really.
Kind of cool.
God, he was fun last night.
He was great.
I don't know when he turned into this player because I swear he wasn't this when he arrived.
I think he was good when he arrived, but he hadn't fit. He didn't figure out the system until the following training camp.
There was still like I just feel like he was a generally solid defenseman that was mistake prone, and now he's just sort of this like T-1000 friggin' robotic animal that just fucks up everyone who comes across his path. Him and Tanev, forever. I don't care how old they get. Yeah, all right. Yeah, you can talk me into that. I'm pretty down. That's a great pair, man.
Do you care that Tanev signed till he's 41?
Nope.
So why do you care about losing a couple of draft picks this spring and getting the center that Jesse's talking about?
All right. Easton Cowan for Ryan Donato. There you go.
I'm sure Chicago would love that.
Right. There you
right.
go.
So Steve,
Yeah.
is your answer different from Jesse's? You take a big swing at any position. Would it be different than center? Because here's the thing, that the center one is the most compelling. If Matthews or Tavares goes down, even if you like the lineup as it currently stands, if Matthews or Tavares goes down, who takes that spot, right? It's tough.
Okay.
You saw it against the Bruins in the first round last year.
So I'd like them to take a big swing at center. I kind of look at their back end. McCabe Tanev has been so damn good. If you take a real big swing back there, and you know your goaltending is solid, and you know you have these 4 to 6 assassins up front, doesn't that make you formidable in the Stanley Cup playoffs? You get one really, really solid. The problem is, like, who is available that is like that? Like a true top pair, top 4, great player, ideally locked up for the future, but like even on a rental. Like, okay, who's selling, right?
Well, I think Boston is.
It's, you know what else I hate? There's all these teams that are like in the mix. Like, they might be interesting. And they're all in the Atlantic.
Yeah, that's hard.
Buffalo, okay, well, no. Well, maybe it's Buffalo.
Pittsburgh selling pieces.
Who are they giving up on the back end?
Well, they already gave up Marcus Pettersson. They'll give you Ryan Graves.
Like, that was the one. No. No. Pettersson would have been great, but he's gone. Habs fans need to stop texting me with this Jake Evans, David Savard stuff.
Ryan Graves still has no points this year.
That's unbelievable.
42 games.
That's unbelievable. And it's not about Jake Evans or Mark Savard, sorry, David Savard being bad. It's about making a trade with Kent Hughes and the Habs that I'm just not enthusiastic with at all. Trading with the Bruins, I'm not enthusiastic with at all. Listen, Brad's reputation from Flames fans is earned. I want him to surprise me.